Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. This is Out of the Park of Baseball 26. And we just got a decent little win, extra innings, but we are 14-2. We're above our goal of 500 again. Had a few injuries. A couple of pitchers went down injured. That kind of ruined what was a slightly promising start. I'm going to take you here first. You can see we did okay. We got up to a lead, then we got the injuries. We kind of struggled, and now we're slowly coming back out of it. As you can see, it is quite a tight fight. And if we do look here, we've got a new catcher, Dylan Dingler. He is currently day-to-day, but he's actually doing quite well at framing runs. The reason I brought him in is he's a really good player and a captain as well. We did that in a trade. We'll visit the trades in a bit. We don't really have anybody else anywhere, but you can pause and look at all the standings and whatnot if you want. Currently a wildcard team, currently a game and a half back on the Giants, as are the Dodgers, as are the Diamondbacks. It is a really tight division, and the Padres just in there with us as well. So, yeah, and even the Giants aren't far away of us, so that's quite good. Yeah, a bunch of changes. So just run you through a little bit of the pitching at the moment. Ben Brown has been brought in, and what a great decision that was. This was the deal for Cole Carrick. I also decided that I like the look of Dela Cruz and Cassie as well for the main roster. So, you know, Andrews, Tiburcio, and Salas went out with Carrick to make that work. Then I decided, okay, I wasn't really happy with what I did at catcher, so Dingler comes in. Clark is a solid person, and Thompson went out with Chavez, Matas, Cox, and Blanco. Very decent people. Then I basically offered out Hill because he wouldn't stay at second base. My manager kept putting him at left field, and I didn't want him at left field. I was trying to clear out left field a little bit for other people to come into things, including Walker and Cassie in the outfield. So I just offered him out, and the best deal I got was him straight up for uh, Encarnacion Strand. I could get this to like 90% retained, and I figured that Tiger would actually be a fun person to throw in because he could be a decent pitcher, but probably not. And then basically with that, I had enough about this to think that, yeah, we didn't need to do too much more, but full foot out. Pay amps, the manager didn't like. Hill, who was never going to develop. Thornton and Shook, that was never going to develop. I got Stewart and Castro, who I really liked. And that got us the deal in place here. As you can see, we needed to pay them some money to make it work for the salary cap, basically on their end. So, kind of a big deal. Um, yeah, Ben Brown being absolutely bullied, which I didn't see coming. Extreme fly ball, sure, but I thought he had some really good pitches and could actually work out. So, yeah, there's very much a chance that he might get traded, which is fine because I've got an instant replacement in AAA. It's a bit of a weird one, but you might notice someone's still missing from our lineup, and yeah, that's kind of yeah, kind of a lot there. So we'll see what Ben Brown does over the year. I kind of want to keep him, but he is getting absolutely bullied. The rest of them not doing too bad. Patine not doing great. Patrick being amazing. Kershaw holding off Father Time. Dustin May kind of doing his bit as well. And then, yeah, Stewart comes in, pushes Bazardo to that setup role. And, Bazardo hasn't enjoyed that. Snyder's not doing great either since he's moved out of his role. Castro and Stewart have stepped in and done okay, but Monomoto getting absolutely shelled as well. So far from perfect, but pretty good across the board, I feel. Um, and hope that actually a couple of these players are actually going to play better in the future. So we'll take that. And then that gives us Dylan Dingler, and also, since we traded away both our catchers, I just want to go another captain. I mean, I don't like Carson Kelly, but he is a defensive catcher. He was cheap, 1.5 million for the year. What is fifth team in 3 years or something, or 4 years, 5 teams. Because he played for 2 teams. He got traded, and then released, and now he's with us. So I think that's right. Seems like a perfect Rocky signing to sit on the bench and just be a captain kind of guy for us. So brought him in. Encarnacion gets slightly expensive, not super expensive. I think it's like 6. Yeah, a little over 6 million on this final deal, but it's all paid for. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's a good bat. He's again another leader. He's pretty solid. He can play first for us. I'm happy to have him there. Lawler, I pulled down and sent to play second base because I like his style here. I think it's a very good makeup for second base. He's just good everywhere. Why be a DH when we can actually get this on the field? And so that's what we've done. And to be fair, he hasn't been amazing so far, but he also hasn't been bad either. So defensively, not up to where he should be, batting a little below as well. But I think it's working out kind of okay. Amador is just absolutely doing his bits as well. He's not quite on a massive home run pace he used to be, but a solid bat, good guy to have, and just seems to play really well at third. He played well at second too, but Lawler can't play second, neither can Rita. Mauricio has come in. He is our backup and our bench player, another captain, of course. So we're really going heavy on the leadership traits here on the bench as well. But, along with Ryan Ritter, this is a very defensively sound with a couple of decent hitters and also good backups. So, Dingler, Encarnacion, Lawler, Amador, Rita. Charlie is actually DHing because it did put other people in, and I really just want to get him reps and really just want to see what he can do. I definitely think he does end up in the outfield. If he's a position player, he might just be a DH though. So I don't know right now. I'm not sure which way I want to go with this, but I feel like Charlie is he's doing his bit at the moment. I'll say that. But think of him as well as that first baseman to spell Christian, and then Lawler can play shortstop or second. So can Ryan Ritter. He can also play third. Mauricio can play second or third, same as Amador. So we're really we're well covered in the infield. Into the outfield, you've got the big bat of Jordan Walker we're developing. And I think he will kind of work out there. Max Clark, I mean, he's really developed well and looks like a very solid player. Not only that, but his bat isn't that bad. He's still very, very, very young. I have got a monster contract on him. I got 14 million till he's 35. But honestly, I thought with the kind of player he is, that's going to be a long-term saving. And that's just cost control. It's a lefty bat that's going to be a plus bat with awesome defense and awesome on base potential. So, yeah, as long as injuries don't kill him or something like that, I think Max Clark is a great replacement for Brenton Doyle and really just allows us to do what we want to do now around him in the outfield, which is more hitting than defense. So, once we got second base, shortstop, they're both sort of good defense. Amador third is good defense. Turning Lawler into a third baseman might work. I don't know. Maybe put an Amador back at second. He might be better there. I don't know. I've got to kind of figure this out. Mauricio, you know, yeah, we've got a little bit of a puzzle to still work out, but also we don't have anyone in their 30s in the entire team, apart from then our final member of the lineup, which is Kyle Tucker, our big money signing, and our power hitting raker of a ball. Now, that's not too bad. It does give us Owen Cassie, who again, Cassie is a bat we can really develop to be a solid hitter, a very solid hitter, who's okay on base, okay in defense as well, especially in right field. He's got some potential to him as well. And then Benny Montgomery is another good sort of catcher who can hit a little bit, but is primarily a defensive guy. So I do feel like we've got some really nice pieces in this team. I think, with Walker and eventually Cassie, and then Clark Montgomery, and probably Charlie DHing in the outfield once Kyle Tucker goes. I feel pretty good about that. Robert Calaz might have something to say. Might be that Benny Montgomery goes at that point. To accommodate him, I'm not sure. But I do think there's more of a question here. I think catcher's good now, and if we can train Cerner, then long term that's fine. So I'm pretty happy where everybody stands right now, if I'm honest. So yeah, pretty good about all that. You can see there's no bad relationships. We traded Piamps. The good relationships are all kind of set out here. And even better than that, you look here, we still got Kershaw in as a leader, which is very, very nice. But our trades this year brought in Christian Encarnacion Strand and Jordan Walker as leaders. Not only that, but they both have a little bit of power in their bat, or will have in the future. That's going to be very useful. And then our captains, the waiver claim for Mauricio to play backup, I think is a really smart leadership move. $1.5 million for a year of Carson Kelly is another smart leadership move. And then the trade to bring Dylan Dingler, I think, is a great piece of business and gives us exactly what we need at catcher right now. Captain, great personality, good catcher, not a great catcher, but good catcher, solid bat, nothing super crazy. But if we do need to spell him, then yeah, we got a little bit of a worse bat, someone that's way worse on base, but can still kind of play defensive catcher and is a very nice addition to the clubhouse. So you kind of look at things and think, yeah, maybe we need a spark plug, maybe a prankster can help a little bit. We don't have any bad personality players. We don't really have any issues with morale. And yeah, 5 out of our 6 kind of key members in that clubhouse are all brand new signings. So it's going to take a little time to gel and to figure things out. But I'm pretty happy with our 26. We don't have anyone on the injured list right now. Lauda is there. He's in AAA. And not only he's in AAA, but we also have he's playing reliever. Brandon Woodruff's playing reliever, boys. Wow. Yeah, he cleared waivers. Nobody wanted 11 million, and we can basically hold on to him until someone does want him, or until we might need him. Um, like I say, if Ben Brown doesn't work out, then Brandon can come back up and just basically give us the same or better. Um, yeah, he wasn't off to a great start though. So yeah, but he was injured, and so coming back from injury, I don't know. But we do have him, and of course, like I said, we've got Eric Miller in there who can come up as a reliever. I quite like. If we really need to do Bradley Carson, could come up as well, but I don't really want to do that. And then injury wise, Lauda is someone to keep an eye on. That's for certain. I don't know quite how good he's gonna be or how good he kind of is right now, but I do think this has kind of set us up quite well as a roster. You can kind of see that potentially we're going to grow quite nicely with Walker, Cassie, and Charlie all being 3.5 to 4-star potential at age 24. And then Amador, who's already killing it. Max Clark, who we think's going to develop into a defensive demon, is on long-term contract. Jordan Lawler, we're trying to make work at second base right now. So, you know, a bunch of 24-year-olds and a 22-year-old really already fairly well developed, but, you know, with a lot of room to grow for some of them too into top tier prospects over the next season or two. Really kind of like that. So we'll see how it goes, but yeah, fairly happy with it. If you look at the roster, Muramoto is there with Dustin May, Kyle Tucker, and then Amador, Brown, Dingler, CES, Kershaw, Ritter, and Stewart. Some of these are working out better than others. No names, Ben Brown, no names at all. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Like I say, I have had to make Charlie DH for him to be used as DH. Mauricio was being used and Cassie was being used, which I don't hate. I think their bats are good. I just think Charlie's can be better. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. If you do look as well at the minor league, we've got Vargas, Mendoza, Carrasco, Cerna. They are our big guys right now. Um, you know, like I say, Cerna needs to learn how to play defense, but he's pretty good. Carrasco is probably just going to be a first baseman unless we can teach him how to play a little better. Um, so he might just be a hitter. An outfield hitter, probably a left fielder. Then Alex Mendoza can come through and maybe make something work there. And Bragas, again, you know, same as Cerna, both really good kind of hitters, but don't really have good framing or know really how to play defensive as a catcher. So, not the best hitter. We did grab him as well. I'm not really sure if he makes it. So, a couple of like interesting prospects. Nobody major. And then people like Robert Calaz, of course, we're continuing to develop him and seeing if he's got any sort of future. Sergio Perez, Andy Perez, Kevin Roberts Jr., Shai Robinson, Dane George, Kyle Carros. There's a bunch of people I feel are kind of on the edge of getting called up over the next year or so. Pitching looks a little better. Webster, Lauda, Vermeer, kind of like him. Tony Reyes, we just called up as well. Mikhail Holden, who we picked up in the draft, and then Leo as a potential closer. So quite like those. Willie Ramirez is, of course, the big boy from last year. Just well worth everything there. So I don't mind. I think we've done okay. And then there's a bunch of others like Allen, Appenzala, who I really, really like. Um, what else do I really like? There aren't that many, to be honest with you. Um, yeah, maybe a Dylan Tate is okay. Yeah, no, like who I really like. There aren't that many. Or Ronaldo Yin looks great. I just don't know if he will be. I think this is a big kind of test for him. He went up to AAA last year. He's gone back down to double and hasn't done too much here. But he's a new minor league signing that looks like he could maybe be something, but I don't know. Low control, 100 mile an hour, not a ton of skill. We'll kind of have to see where that goes. But our depth is definitely getting better. Um, that's for sure. And yeah, Kershaw, I just don't see, unless he has a monster season, how we can re-sign him. Stewart and Bialok are going to arbitration. I really need to think hard on both of those for sure. Gabby Gonzalez probably just gets a new deal. That's fine. And I'm hoping there's another option instead of Carson Kelly. But that's kind of the roster as we've settled into the season. We're about an actual month into the season. Um, and like I say, we're doing okay. We are 14-2. Everybody kind of looks okay. It's been a little up and down. I think we live and die by our pitching to a certain degree. I wonder if I don't like going to these categories because I don't like all the pictures and how long it takes. But yeah, you can kind of see a little bit here about how things are working out. There's a bunch of double plays from Lawler, Encarnacion, Ritter, etc. Not too bad though, right? I think it maybe isn't the best in the world. It's definitely not the worst we've had either. And then you can see, not that many sort of good ERAs before it gets out of hand. 100%. But we are getting some wins. A few more wins than losses. We're already sort of starting to look okay. A few strikeouts as well with May. And it's nice to see that, Kershaw is still holding quite high up on these lists. If he's not number one, he's usually, number two or three. May is in and among some of the good ones as well. Few too many walks, but also a lot of strikeouts. So, that's why he's not great on the strikeouts by walks metric. But Bodnik has been an absolute surprise again. He just continues to absolutely dominate. And you got to remember, the league has evolved to a smaller or a shorter pitcher's mound now in game, where what that basically means is you are basically seeing more offense. The level of advantage from the pitchers has been severely reduced, and so you are seeing a more batter-friendly game developing. So these stats kind of need to be taken into account with those as well. But yeah, all in all, not too bad. In terms of the batting, this is what kind of worries me in some places that the batting averages have only got 4 over 250. But to be fair, they are 287, 294, 297, and a massive 342 from behind home plate. Did not see that coming. Home runs, 4 for Tucker, 4 for Ritter, 4 for Lawler, 4 for Dingler, 6 for Walker, and 6 for Condon. Again, it isn't amazing, but right now, even though we're only 26 games into the season, we're kind of like 15% of the way through the season or so, then yeah, Charlie is on pace for 37. And so is Jordan Walker, of course, in that regard. I think both are hitting quite well. And then these fours are all around 25s. So I did say if my top two combined for around 60, I'd be quite happy. That was Tucker and Joey Gallo at the time. Tucker's in here with Ritter putting up 50. Lawler and Dingler are on pace to put up 50. Walker and Condon are on pace to put up 70. So we're definitely getting the more runs. I still don't love the pitching, and that's always going to be an issue at Coors. The fielding is being rejigged. I definitely don't feel comfortable with the infield yet. I'm trying to make changes. I'm trying to squeeze people in that I like. I really think I just need to trade people. And I do want some feedback on that as well. Like Jordan Lawler, or maybe we just skipped to Amador somehow. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, Lawler, we're teaching him to play second base. He could turn out to be a very good second baseman. I just think he looks more like a third baseman defensively a little bit. But then again, so does Amador, maybe even more so. And if I gotta choose between them, I'm going Amador. But is Lawler then right for second base? I don't know. What about Mauricio? I don't love him, but like he's good bench player. And Rita, I mean, again, I think he could be a great second baseman or third baseman, but like shortstop looks like and feels like where I should keep him. And so I think what I'm looking at now is a second or third baseman to maybe end up replacing Jordan Lawler, which I don't really want to do because I like Jordan Lawler. But that's kind of what I feel. Things are a little sticky still. I don't quite know how that goes out. But like Walker, Clark growing into his role, and Kyle Tucker, I think's great outfield with Montgomery and Cassie as backups. I think that's great. Charlie as DH. I'm excited to see how that develops. Mauricio, I'm excited to keep as a backup for a couple of seasons. Dingler, I'm happy to start. Kelly, I'm fairly happy the backup for this year, and we'll decide how we want to proceed in the future. But just this little second base not quite being right for Lawler, you know, not really sure, but he can't play anywhere else I'd want him. Could put him at shortstop, move Ryan Ritter down to second. I just think he's more effective at shortstop. So yeah, I don't know. I feel kind of a little strange, a little confused by this, and I'm not sure which way to do it. But I still think if I'm gonna make a move, it's gonna be trading away a Lawler and either getting a really good third baseman and moving Amador back in, or keeping Amador third and getting a really nice young second baseman. We do still have players like Diane George. Of course, I just don't feel he's really the answer. He could be. He's very much a defensive player, so I prefer him more as a backup kind of player, a replacement player. And we do have like a Kyle Karros who again could be slightly useful, but it's probably better trade bait. Um, But yeah, I don't know what else to do in terms of that infield. Kind of what makes sense for me to have. Um, I'm really not sure. And then, like I say, if Ben Brown doesn't work out, we got people we can call up. But I'd love to add something in that rotation. Although May is doing really well, Kershaw's doing really well. Patrick and Petit, I know, can be solid. And that bullpen in general, I feel, is okay. If Brown can get it under control, then maybe things work out. And then we're only having to replace Kershaw at the end of the year and maybe a big decision on Brock Stewart. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, they need to be changed this season. And I'm not really sure that we've got anything to trade that's going to get us an ace. So, yeah, that's going to be really interesting. That is going to be really interesting. I think waivers are going to play a part in that as well. Right now, I don't think there are any, but I haven't actually checked for a moment. Solid second base options. Really quite what I want. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not fully sure that works for me right now. Gotta be honest with you. And then there's players like Albies who have a slightly better bat, but I don't know. I don't love those either. Um, yeah, I don't really feel like there's a ton of options, and I think that's kind of what I'm stuck on things right now. There's definitely people here who could do some kind of job, and mainly backups. But I don't think there's anyone to step into rotation here that I would kind of feel good about. And I'm not really sure about any of the infielders either. Kind of sit at second or third. I just don't like the options because where the defense is good, the bat isn't good. And I feel that's fair enough because if it was, it's highly likely they would be in the major leagues already. But I'm kind of looking here at trade pieces like, you know, Tyler, who I do like, and Ronaldo, who I do like, but I don't feel I've got much in the way of capital to go trade for these guys. And I don't know if they'd improve us at all. And then in the infield, basically, there's Ryan McMahon, but he's definitely going to be a third baseman. And I don't know whether I want then to move Amador to second to make that move. I mean, the only other player there after him is Goodrum, who just isn't it anymore. It's like, what do I do? How do I do this? I think this is kind of the big question that I've currently got going on. How do I put this together? How do I make this work? And so far, I'm coming up empty with ideas, but I definitely think the hitting's working okay. I definitely feel like defense is a little sketchy in place and pitching in place as well. But we're kind of an average to above average team in general. I think that's fair to say for both. We only played 2 games in March. We were 1-1. April 13 and 4, 13 and 11. We should be even at 500 like we always would be, but we won this game in extras instead of losing it, and so we're actually 14 and 12. So yeah, we're gonna have to go and just see how the season develops really, and then make some big decisions on do we make moves or not at second base and starting pitcher. That would be kind of it. You can see though, Dingler, Encarnacion, they are rated fairly highly compared to what we usually got. Dustin May, Muramoto's top 10, Tucker's top 10, and then Brock Stewart is really highly rated, and Amador really highly rated. They don't really rate Clark, Walker, or Lawler, and Ritter is kind of looked down upon a little bit as well. But I definitely feel that I'm a bigger fan of Ritter and Clark. They may not be great, but I'd put them maybe like 16th to 20th range. Jordan Walker will grow into, I think, a top 10 player, but right now I put him around 14th, 15th in the league. All I don't know I can argue too much on since I'm trying to replace him, right? Um, yeah, I'm not sure on that. I have gone and scouted out the draft as well because we got pick number 17 and the see here supplemental picks for Braves, Red Sox, and the Cardinals, and they are being lost by the Marlins, Mets, and the Rangers for their big signings there. And then there's additional picks being granted to the White Sox, Padres, Athletics, the Red Sox, Blue Jays, Cubs, Rangers, and again the White Sox here. So not too bad. I mean, the only thing I see here which is kind of interesting to me is the Rangers. They signed Sonny Gray and lost a third round pick. And then they've got basically, I'm not sure why it's pick 1,494. I don't really think it is. But they basically have a second round pick that they didn't have before. So yeah, it's pick number 37. So they do gain that pick, and they lose what, pick number 16 in the next round. So technically, they've moved up slightly in that. So the lottery, hasn't really changed too much of the Mariners coming up. I'm looking at the draft pool. I've basically gone ahead and shortlisted everybody. I'm going to scout them bit by bit. I'm going to try and figure out. My filters are currently 2.5 stars. Not having low work ethic or baseball IQ, not being impossible to sign. There's a bunch, just from first glance, there's a bunch of really interesting bats here that are already showing some major league kind of power, including like a Jimmy Ricker. Like, he looks like he could possibly play straight away and maybe have a ton of room to grow. Defense, I think, is probably the worst part of this class. But without scouting them very much right now, you can see that there are a lot of hitters that could be really, really good and really solid. And then in terms of pitchers, I like to look this way, but four pitchers at 100 mile an hour plus, 4-star potential. That's someone I would kind of, look at 100-mile-an-hour 4 pitches, 5 stars there. Um, 3 pitches at 100 mile an hour and 5 stars here. So there's definitely some intriguing pitchers. We look at the ones that like limit home runs, which is something we do need to worry about, of course. We do have a couple of ground ballers here. A 3-starer for later on, maybe third round, fourth round kind of guy. Just wants slot, whatever he's taken. Bit of a slow pitch, but don't mind. But, slider, sinker, they're both decent. I do feel he could be something to look at a little bit later and maybe make a play on down the draft a little. I don't know. And then right up the top of the list, Josh Marsh looks like an absolute monster for us if we can get him. That changeup, of course, is scary, but a slider fastball looks like a monster. Looks like he's got great personality. Ground baller throwing 97 with a ton of stamina. Sadly, does scream long reliever, but I don't mind that. I really don't. And we could maybe teach him how to do another pitch, and maybe he'll develop that changeup. Who knows? His demand is quite ridiculous, as you'd kind of expect, though. So I really do need to go through these in more detail, and I will be over time. But for now, I just wanted to let you know how I'm scouting out all these players and what I'm kind of looking for at this early stage. I've also gone ahead and paid more attention to the mock drafts, and I'm not looking too much at players up here, but I was looking here and I'm like, you know, Alexander, thinking he might go 19th and looks like an absolute demon. Buena looks not much worse at all, and he might go to Milwaukee at 20. And it's very early, of course, the mock draft, but you're looking at that, and there's even more good guys, like, people I like as well. There's a couple of good bats around here, so I really think you can get. I think this is a very stacked draft. I think we're going to be able to get ourselves a really good player, whether that's Hinton or maybe I prefer a Steve Stevens just for that bat. You know, like, I don't care if he's got to play left field. I don't care if he's got to play first base. There's a chance that this could be like absolutely monstrous, and he could be in play for us at this level. So I don't know what the play is in the first round. You're still getting players like Whitley being mocked to us in the second round, who's very, very high potential, um, and a bunch of others here. So I think we'll wait and see what the scouting is doing, and then my own personal sort of scouting after that. We should have a very good short list to work from, but for a change, I'm actually doing more work on the draft like I feel I should, and I'm hoping that ends up paying off. I really, really do, and we need to build some relationships. So far, Onion Mountain who could be a very good late pick, but they are the only one that we have a relationship with really at the moment. So, yeah, we'll kind of see how that works out. Brian Sophia could be easy to sign, which we really need to start looking at catchers again. Maybe, who knows? I definitely feel like potentially we do. But yeah. Yeah, let me know kind of how you like to scout people out as well, and on what you like to do with it. But yeah, for now, I think we're going to go month to month. So I'll be back in June and we'll go over our updated record and are those pitchers sort of recovering or not? Do we need to make a move? What's that infield look like? And what's the home run hitters on our team look like? So be back after another month. Okay, so we're not quite there, but Christian Encarnacion Strand wants to help the community, and I think we should start a charity. We've got tons of money we're actually spending at the moment in development and scouting and in the draft that we don't need to, just because I don't want to sit here and look at 45 million of available money that would really help us that we just can't get to. We are 24 and 18. We are playing quite well right now, but we're starting a big charity. Kershaw says, hey, like 6 days ago, he says, hey, I want to continue playing for this team. Let me know if you want me back. And I'm thinking about it, and he's been playing like quite well. Um, not amazing, but like better than expected, and kind of holding down his spot. And I really was thinking about it and giving him a little pay rise. And then, yeah, he's got his radial nerve compression and he's gone for 4 months. So, yeah, 21 strikeouts in 30 innings, a 217 average, and a 3.23 ERA. Yeah. Um, and it was basically 2 days after he asked for a new contract that happened. So, you know, just a just an interesting one. I've gone ahead and I called up Woodruff. He is now back in the mix. Um, I mean, Woodruff's been playing reliever. I guess that's affected him there. I mean, if we're going to play Pizzardo, then sure. Got 4 pitches. I don't hate him being a starter. Yeah, he definitely does not have the stamina for it, but it's not the worst move in the world, is it? Um, yeah, I wanted my lefty starter, but I don't think we're gonna get one. Um, sure, sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to run it right now. I really thought Woodruff would be the starter. Should have really called up maybe Palmquist if I wasn't sure. And if Pizarro can't really start, then I'll probably do that. I'll call up Carson Palmer. But okay. Well, on the back of a win over Minnesota, we moved back to 29 and 25, which kind of keeps our team in the hunt a little bit. We're in a wild card where looking okay. We're right there with with the Giants. The Dodgers taking a bit of a lead. At one point, we had like a 620, I think, win percentage. Now we're 537. Our catcher's kind of flirting with getting in a couple of our hitters in a couple of places. Flirting with getting in. I don't think any of our pitchers are having a good season. So, yeah, this does feel like a very rough few months for us to open up the season, I can't really complain. I honestly just don't think I can really complain. 15 and 13 again this month, and we're only 4 games up, but if this does continue where we're 2 games up every single month, then sure, we'll be in a good spot. We're supposed to be this record, so it doesn't feel too bad. The bats are getting good in places and bad in other places. Um, yeah, it's kind of strange, but the home runs are coming in. It feels like our defense is starting to come together, and the team again is just living and dying on the pitches. We're giving up some home runs and we're letting people walk too much. That's not great. You know, Charlie is still on pace for 36. He is leading the way. Encarnacion at 27. And Jordan Walker has dropped down. He's now only on 24. So he's gone a little bit cold. But as a team, we are hitting home runs. As a team, we look okay. Our pitching is solid, if not good. They kind of like some of our players and kind of really dislike some of our other players. But yeah, I just feel like it's all working a little bit and everything really does seem a little better than last season. Our record's not crazy better than last season. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's not history I want. It's pitching stats, I guess. Um, game logs, I guess, because he's kind of started recently. Does look like there's a significant difference from when he was playing as a reliever to when he's been playing as a starter. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure. I love that. Not sure I love that at all. Woodruff's been okay, but his ERA in a lot of games is quite bad. I think sending him down, returning Bazardo to play as reliever, and then just calling up Brett Loader, who's now come back off injury, which is a very welcome return right now. I think that just should help out a ton. It should help out a ton. Yeah, fielding evaluation. Framing from Dingler's good, not great, but it's good. Yeah, some really low efficiencies. To be fair, that's probably what's killing us is high range, low efficiency like Carson Kelly, and to a certain degree Lawler. Yeah, does seem like he is a little bit of a problem at second. Percentages don't look too bad. Again, if we look at our batting evaluations, I love seeing the captains here. I love seeing that. Who's walking? Benny's walking a decent amount. Good for him. Strikeout. It's Lawler, Mauricio Montgomery, and Carson Kelly, the players that don't really play well. Then a couple of big hitters tucked in. Really, Kyle Tucker and Jordan Walker really doing well for big hitters, and Amador doing really well there. And yeah, so a few home runs kind of spread out everywhere. Kyle Tucker being on 6 is kind of worrying. That's really worrying for a player with great eye and power, like the best hitter on the team technically. Like, I want more to Walker now, let alone in the future. And Tucker should be above him no matter what. And Encarnacion is hitting decently well. Would like a little more out of him. And Charlie, eventually we will get more out of. But I feel like he's hitting the home runs I would expect from him. It does look like an average is coming up. That is good. OPS. Yeah, some of these role players are kind of getting the job done is nice to see. I guess I'm not expecting much from Clark or Lawler here. Tucker and Condom, probably I want to see more from again. Runs above average, Walker, Dingler, Amador, Encarnacion, Strand. Pretty solid there. Runs created, Dingler, Mauricio, Walker, Casse, Amador, and Encarnacion, Strand. Yeah, it does definitely feel like there's more to come from Charlie, but he's at least getting home runs. There's a lot more to come from Kyle Tucker. That's just not working out at all for us. Um, like at all. Oh my god. Yeah, it's slightly worrying. It's slightly worrying how bad Kyle Tucker's looking right now. Yeah, Ben Brown just can't buy a win. Everybody else is at least close. We've actually got quality starts from people apart from Ben Brown. Brock Stewart with a 714 save percentage, 818 from Masamoto. Shutdowns to meltdowns, 6 to 7. Yeah, he's like, he's having a bad time as well. Our top 2 players are just not having good seasons, like, at all. Schneider, no meltdowns, 5 shutdowns. Kind of interesting. Okay. Some good strikeouts, some not high levels of strikeouts. Man, we're just walking people with our closer. At least that's not happening to Rhett Loader. Um, yeah, those whips aren't great. The ERAs aren't great. ERA plus, I mean, Petit's my highest ranked starter, which is honestly a massive worry. I'd rank him 5th in my list, but he's quietly having the best season out of everybody. I mean, Patrick and May aren't far behind, to be fair. Like, sure, it's not amazing. The FIP minus Brett Petit May, yeah, yeah. It still is pitching, isn't it? It really still is pitching that's kind of killing us right now. toughest thing to improve quickly for us. We do have a ton of free agent money. We do have 45 million. If there is a stud international free agent who joins free agency in the off season, that's what I think our only real hope is of getting like a stud ace that takes us from a 500 team to potentially a World Series contender. Um, John Duran, there's Zach Wheeler. He is 37. He is a spark plug. He is absolutely an older pitcher, but can still get it done. Eflin, don't don't really think he's good enough. Valdi, I mean, if I'm going for an old pitcher, then I'm probably going for Wheeler. I don't see too much here. Ronaldo, maybe a little Ray Ray. Could be interesting. He could be interesting. Yeah, and of course then there's Kershaw's actually been okay for us. He really doesn't like to walk people. He hasn't really struck that many people out, but he's not bad. Low whip, low ERA. Like, just everything's where you'd want it to be with a player like Kershaw. He's just really injury prone. So I don't know what that looks like. Yeah. Yankees don't want to give up Wheeler. That might be a next season move, but I don't know if I want to do that. Don't know if I want to do that. I hate the stuff of Eflin. I really do. But is there a world where he makes sense? I mean, I'm not opposed to giving up Carl Tucker. On 1 year rentals here, we dump Tucker, who's just not even playing great. And he's not hitting the home runs that he was here to help us hit. Um, yeah, it's kind of dumb season, isn't it? It's kind of dumb season. So, what does Kyle Tucker get if he's not working for us and he's on a bunch of money? What can we do to free up that money and make it work elsewhere? Simeon Woods Richardson is not a bad shout. Kyle Bradish is not a bad shout. Spencer Strider is not a bad shout. Extreme fly ball. Fernandez, I don't know too well, but looks like he's okay. Bit of a young prospect. Priester. Kane Smith. Alamo Hernandez. Gassa, Sean Sullivan. We traded him away. Cam Schlittler. I don't love these options. I don't hate them either. Now, Pittsburgh want to get rid of Willits pretty badly. I've seen him in a couple of trade offers already this year. Um, Out for 5 months, but Alejandro Rosario. This is such an interesting one to me. This is a player that looks like they're right on the cusp of being fully developed. And when they are fully developed, I think they're a very nice MLB starter. Out for 5 months. Like, that's the question. 25 years of age, but yeah. I think if he wasn't injured, I'd be a lot more interested. Might not be available if he wasn't injured. Um, I don't love Willett. I don't feel like I need do that. Ben, I like Ben. Really not what we're looking for right now. Lest we think Bad could be an answer. Could he be an answer? Possibly. Probably not, but he's played well when he's come up to the major. It's a fly ball, but that's kind of interesting. That's for Faft and Joyce. Maybe. Um, give up Kozart. Give up Kozart. Give up Kerner, and I don't want to bail on a draft pick if I don't have to. Problem is, most of these are draft picks. Probably not draft picks that work out, but yeah, that could be kind of what we like. It's a starting pitcher I don't love, but I don't hate. I don't think there's going to be anyone I want to give up on the prospects that they're actually going to want to have. I can replace Tucker. I don't feel he's the issue. I think this opens up a couple of spots, right? It opens up Palmquist to go back down, and we play Faft. And then I don't know what else. Sorry, Loader to go back down, I mean. Um, yeah, Loader can go back down. And we can also possibly upgrade one of our relievers with Ben Joyce. And I replace Tucker. I don't hate this deal. I think finding the right person might make that okay, but again, weigh in. See what you feel about those. But I don't know I don't know if I hate that deal. Um, the way that's set up. I think I might be okay with it. Might be okay with it. Have a look then at a prospect package. Anybody, any potential, or is this just salary dump? Just salary dump. Paul Young's a good all-round guy. Esteban, good, but he can't hit. And Keegan, looks okay, but low IQ. Okay. Fernandez, low IQ. Not really what we're looking for. Morabito, good, no power. Navarro, could be okay, probably a reliever. Devin Taylor is a guy. Lodis is a guy. Julio Rodriguez, don't know. Okay, what my multiplayer packages. Alex Bregman. That's really interesting. Um, don't hate it. Definitely don't love it, but don't hate it. Could turn Charlie back into a first baseman. Oh, sorry, into a left fielder to replace Tucker, and Bregman slots in the infield as backup. I hate the contract, but it's not bad. And then we get Schmidt. It's a ton of money, but it's about the same money as Tucker, but we get it off the books a lot quicker. That's a really kind of interesting deal. Okay. I've had to look at some of these deals and like Mitch Keller for 2 years. I really don't want Brian Hayes. Same here, like Schmidt for 2 years isn't. Sorry, for 3 years isn't bad at that contract, but it's not great. Don't really want Bregman. Um, Jansen would have been nice if we're still needing a catcher. Um, Valdez, I don't know. I quite like Austin Hayes. Don't think we need him. Definitely don't think we need Young. Tavares again. I think kind of got that center field spot resolved right now, and I don't feel adding an older guy in there would really help us out too much. And also, like Mitchell's there. Comes as Suarez, I don't feel are the right moves. Siri, another very good defensive center fielder, but again, we don't really need him. I don't love Canning. John Gray, there's Watcher and Palacios. I don't know. Luis Roberts Jr.'s there. Lance McCullers Jr. Um, Bradish might be one of the better deals. Rafael again. Like we don't need that kind of player. Um, I am a little concerned, but I do think maybe Kyle Bradish might be okay. He's not having a great season. He's not an amazing player, but I think could be okay, especially with the injury we've got. And if he does well for the rest of this year, it could be someone we carry into next year, and we let Kid go. So again, I don't know how much sense it makes to give up Tucker for him, and then Trimble, who I just think is a AAA guy, trade bait, and Yaz, who would just cost a lot of money. So I don't really like any of these deals too much. Like, yeah, if we're just looking at pictures, like Clark Schmidt, Mitch Keller, um, there aren't that many options out that I like. I don't know if there's a market for him. I don't know if we can really make that move. So might just have to stick for now. See how Loader does. Because yeah, Kershaw's gonna be done through the start of the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna have to see how Loader does. We're gonna have to see how Ben Brown does. And kind of gonna have to see if Kyle Tucker picks up between now and the end of the season, but it's not the best of starts. So, okay, that being said, we are above 500. We are playing decently well, even though our pitching is bad and our star player isn't hitting, which is pretty much 90% the reason we brought him here. He's being out hit by a couple of young guys who, even at their fully developed bats, probably aren't going to have as good a bat as Kyle Tucker, but they are already out hitting him. So, what that really says to me is there's a chance that his bat does come alive. It can't stay being as bad as it has been, surely. And the pitching can't stay as bad as it has been. So, if they do improve slightly, I think wildcard might be on the table. So, year 3 playoffs, maybe wish me all the luck in the world as we try and engineer that. But I don't know if we can get it done. Have your say, comment section, as always, down below. Like and subscribe while you're there. It really does help out the channel. Check out the other playlists. Love y'all. I'll see you soon. Till then, take care, stay safe, and all the very best. We try and push forward. Year 3 with the Rockies. Still a long way to go. But slight reasons for optimism. Possibly. Maybe.